Hey Trekkies, it's summer, and you know what that means. It's time for Creation Entertainment's Trek to Las Vegas 2025. This year, the convention has been expanded to a 5-day schedule, August 6th through the 10th at the Rio Las Vegas Hotel. Meet all your favorite Star Trek pros in one place, and hey, maybe you swing by Vic's Lounge and you see our panel. It's a great way to meet people in person and have some fun with your fellow Trekkies. If you can't make it to Star Trek Las Vegas, of course, there's also other events around the country this year. Trek to Orlando, August 23rd through 24th. There's the Trek to New Jersey, September 6th and 7th. And finally, the Trek to Chicago, November 22nd and 23rd. We're looking forward to meeting as many of you as we can this year. So make sure that you get ready to trek to Las Vegas.
Is this thing on? Hello, hello. Welcome to Open Pike Night Live, Last Comic Streaming. I'm your host, producer John T. Bolds, here tonight with everybody hanging out in the audience and with my fantastic co-hosts. First up, from the Sudden But Inevitable podcast, we have Jesse.
Hey there, John. I've got enough puns with me tonight to fill up a jar, John.
All right. And here, fresh off his first viewing of Deep Space Nine, Emissary, Episode 1, while also still watching for the first time Star Trek TNG, host of Green Chirp, A Newbie's Trek to TNG, Cameron.
That's all accurate. Yes, I've got my conveniently placed groin shadow in place, and I'm ready to go.
Well, hey, we appreciate everybody being here tonight, and we're here to talk about the 4-part comic series, the Illyrian Enigma, which is a bridge between seasons 1 and 2 of Strange New Worlds. First off, though, I want to thank all of our patrons, especially our 25-minute set patrons, Shatterhand, Pam, Steve, and Mark. They get a shout out every episode, every show we do, and all of our other patrons, of course, are amazing. The support we're getting from our listeners, from our patrons, is just fantastic, and I want to make sure they all know how much we appreciate it. Anybody watching or listening who hasn't signed up to be a patron and is interested in supporting independent Star Trek podcasting, you're welcome to head on over to patreon.com/openpike or just go to openpike.com and check it out. The first 50 patrons will be entered to win a Kiss the Quaff Open Pike Night original apron that has been autographed by Captain Pike and Spock, Anson Mount, and Ethan Peck. Their hands have touched the apron we will be giving away.
All 4 of them?
So, was that, Kim?
All 4 of them?
Yes, all 4 of them. Yeah,
oh, wow.
All 4
The
hands.
2 fictional characters and the 2 actors.
Yes, so all 8 hands. Yeah, it was. They were switching back and forth seamlessly.
I'm excited.
The acting skills on those 2 guys was fantastic, and the hair was fantastic, of course.
Chest and head.
I don't know. They're.
Hi, Kelly.
There's a whole story I was going to say. It's a good thing you brought up the chest hair story because Kelly is here live with us in the chat. Kelly, we can't say that they didn't leave DNA on the apron. I mean, they did touch it, right? I don't know how swabbing works personally, but outside of the Illyrian Enigma 4-issue comic series that we are here to discuss because we are the Strange New Worlds podcast where your personal logs are the prime directive, there have been some fairly large-ish announcements in the Trek world.
Yes, there have.
Today specifically.
Yeah.
So we figured we should probably mention those as well. There is some seriously huge news. Who wants to say it? Cameron, do you want to say it?
Take it away, Jesse. Yeah.
Okay, you guys, I am eating my words because just yesterday on Twitter I said this series is not going to happen. I'll be very surprised if it does, and I will believe it when I am watching credits on the first episode. Almost as if to just put Crow directly in my face, Paramount today has announced that Star Trek Section 31 is a go. And Michelle Yeoh, Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh, is returning as Captain Philippa Georgiou. Well, rather, Empress Philippa Georgiou And the production is going to start later this year. So this is something that we could see within like 18 months, you guys? I mean, is that about an accurate
Yeah, I'd
guess
say
for feature film?
18 to 24 months is probably a pretty safe bet. They need to, strike while the iron is hot. Not that Michelle Yeoh is going to cool off anytime soon. She's been, a fantastic performer for decades now. But their Paramount is definitely hopefully not still like pandemic speed on producing stuff.
They're going to want to make use of all those Discovery sets before they tear them down permanently,
This is true, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And it sounds like there is a bit of a shift in the overall strategy with Star Trek, and it may include additional character-centric television-style movies going forward. So, you guys, I mean, like, we can start it today, we can start it tomorrow, we can start it whenever we want, but we're going to have to start a campaign for the Ortegas movie, right? Because we're going to need something for that character, and we're going to need something specific to that character because we know she doesn't end up in the original series continuity. Now, we here at Open Pike Night are nothing if not a little bit too dedicated to Star Trek, some folks might say. So in that vein, we have gone ahead and put together a graphic and a name for the show that we will use to cover Star Trek Section 31. And that, of course, is The Empress Strikes Back, which is an Open Pike Night movie event, much as it is for Paramount Plus. I hope that those of you that are out there in the live chat or listening will join us for The Empress Strikes Back. That's the only thing that I've ever submitted to the business group chat that didn't have to get workshopped. I was like, what about this? And Cameron went, yes. And that was the whole process. So
Absolutely.
Please join us for The Empress Strikes Back. We're very, very excited for that. I am very excited for that. I don't want to speak for Cameron or John.
Whenever or in whatever form that occurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could be a while.
Yeah, we got time. We can workshop it some more, but no, Empress Strikes Back is a fantastic name. It's like, well, there we go. We got it. We also have some other news. The Strange New Worlds Season 1 score is going to be available for everybody's listening pleasure on the 28th of this month, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's right.
If you listen back to our interview with Nami Melamad, she took us through some of those musical cues and talked about her process of writing the score for Season 1, and it is a great score. So I look forward to finding it on Spotify or wherever it is.
How many times can people listen to that episode before the score drops?
Oh,
are you challenging people, Cameron? I think
it's 10 days. So it was an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was a solid hour and a half. So
like
I'll get back to you on the math.
200 times.
Yeah, I do feel it's our responsibility right now to say to everybody who is currently watching the live stream, are your taxes done? If your taxes aren't done, please go do your taxes while you leave this live stream on. But you have like 3 hours.
We make
folks,
great background sound.
Yes.
That's right.
Or so we've been told. I wouldn't know because I only ever listen to us with the greatest of intent. And when I watch us, I make my entire family sit on the couch and they're not allowed to speak. So, it's awful for them.
Yeah. They just have to sit in stillness too for some reason. Like completely still.
The IRS is going to go. A whole group of people just sent us a bunch of 1701 forms. We don't even have a 1701 form. What's happening here?
We do not advocate sending fake forms to the IRS, but if you do that, make sure that it says Form 1701 at the top.
I'm just going to say I live like 5 miles from the IRS, so let's not get me in too much trouble, guys.
Too much.
Engineer Mark says, no way that an engineer lags on that kind of thing. I'm going to guess Engineer Mark is one of those paid my taxes on January 2nd guys, like Ned Flanders, right? Like, I mean, that's the way to be, right? Like, I've never been that on the ball personally.
I'd say if you've done by Valentine's Day, that's about the most realistic, like really early bird you can be. But all depends on your.
I've never gotten all my forms by the end of January.
Yeah.
So
over the next hour, we'll go over which forms are available when for filing your taxes. Oh no, that's not what we're talking about.
Come back, please.
Audit Pike Night, welcome. No, John is just fooling with you. We are actually specifically here to talk tonight about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the Illyrian Enigma, which of course is the aforementioned 4-issue miniseries. I believe it's from Dark Horse?
IDW.
Yes, and it does feature a conveniently placed groin shadow, hence my opening. Just
Yes.
so people didn't think I was pulling that out of nowhere.
Correct.
Spock wears a groin shadow.
Yeah.
And Cameron, I think the people that know our show know that you're going to find a way to fit a crotch in kind of no matter what, right? So
It's true.
All right. Now, we did have a little bit of discussion before the stream. We don't know how spoilery the folks would like us to be with this sort of thing because a lot of reasons. So if you're out there in the live chat and you have a specific question, go ahead and toss it up now and we'll definitely answer it. If you are out there in the live chat and you have read these, maybe go ahead and put some of your favorite moments into the live chat and we'll go through those as we go. For starters, John, would you like to give us a quick synopsis of what the setup is here?
Yeah, so this is, first off, this is the Illyrian Enigma. It's a 4-issue comic series bridging seasons 1 and 2 of Strange New Worlds, giving us a little more background about where the Illyrians might have come from and what some of their origins are and what currently other Illyrians, besides Una, who's rotting away in a prison cell, I'm guessing, are doing. So the comic was written by Kristen Beyer and Mike Johnson, art by Morgan Levins, colors by Charlie Kirchhoff, and letters by Neil Uyatake, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I apologize, but they did a great job on the writing, art, coloring, and lettering of the comics. So we have all 4 issues. We've all read them and had a chance to review them and enjoy them. And yeah, we are here to talk to folks about what it is, the story that it tells, and sort of its place in Strange New Worlds.
So I will right away just say that for me, as somebody who's like, give me every scrap that I can have, give me every little detail, I'm like, oh, I'm super excited for these comics. And then we get the comics, and I'm like, this feels just like an episode to me, maybe a really short episode, or, like half an episode.
Exactly. Half an episode is how I've been thinking of it. Yeah.
But like, I'm the kind of person that's going to immediately be like, great, yes, give me that half episode. I'm here for this. You know me, I'm the eternal optimist when it comes to Star Trek. It's difficult for me to be, I don't want to say like objective, because I don't know that objectivity comes into something like this where I've never written or drawn a comic before. But subjectively, I know that I'm often quite effusive, so I'll get out of the way that, yes, I did enjoy this. And it's probably designed specifically for people like me who need every little scrap that they can get and want every little piece of the universe, no matter how consequential that may or may not happen to be. That having been said, I don't know how I don't want to say hardcore. I really don't like that term for fans, but like, I don't know how a fan that's not hardcore is. I don't know how much fun they're going to have with this 4-issue series. Yeah. Because it's obviously they can't do anything that's going to change the status quo of the show, right? So there are some story constraints here. You know me, I'm very forgiving of story constraints, sometimes even when I shouldn't be. I think in this instance, it's understandable. This definitely strikes me as something that is meant to catch your eye on a local comic book store shelf, and you go, I didn't know there was a new Star Trek crew. I guess I will look at this. And then as you're reading it, go, oh, I wonder if the show is episodic and fun and, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Bouncy like this. There's definitely a bouncy pacing to the comic. So I think it's designed specifically to get somebody who isn't watching Star Trek to consider watching Star Trek. That's my guess, if that person is already a comic book fan. Because other than that, I don't know who this is aimed at. I don't know if it's aimed at the super hardcore fan, me, yes, right? But other than me and some comic book guy, I'm not super sure who this is aimed at. What do you guys feel?
I mean, I think that's who it's aimed at. I think you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll point out on the other end of the spectrum from Jesse, I will just say I'm not a huge comic or graphic novel fan. I never have been. There are exceptions. Watchmen is great. I've enjoyed some Hellboy. I mean, there's exceptions, but generally, I'm very picky about art style. I don't want it to be too stylistic or too boring. I want it somewhere in the middle. And they've always just kind of felt like reading storyboards kind of to me. I'm just like, I just want to watch the movie version. I'm also not a huge fan of extended universe material. Like Jesse said, it always has to walk this line of like, it can't really move the needle on the characters or the plot or the universe at all. So the best ones are kind of just like these little kind of nugget side adventures that can be enjoyed on their own. Right. I'm thinking, and they need to be something that like you can't see on TV or film. Like the best books and comic tie-ins are things that like do things that you can't see otherwise, or do things in a way you can't see otherwise. I'm thinking of like, is it Death Troopers? Is that the Star Wars one where you're like, oh, I am never going to see Han Solo and Chewbacca fight zombies on the screen, so I will take this book and enjoy the heck out of it because it's just like this fun kind of what if. For me, this comic was like, we're going to kind of lead into season 2, episode 1, but we can't really because we don't want people to have to rely on reading it, which thankfully I don't want to have to do homework to enjoy season 2. So we're just going to kind of pull a Discovery and just wipe the slate clean. Oh, no one can talk about the events at the end. And so it does just feel a little, okay, well, that's the thing that happened that doesn't matter, I guess.
Right. And like you said, like the High Country, which I apologize to you guys, I need to get mailed out. That is a nice little side adventure that is its own episode, its own thing we could see on screen, but it's like, that they would never just do an episode or a movie of this. This is, I'm waiting to see until I see the first 2 episodes of Strange New Worlds. Like, is this episode, season 1 episode 10.5? Is this season 2 episode 0.5 or 1.5? Because I have a feeling it's going to be one of those. And it is, I was thinking about it while we were making our notes for this. Like, Marvel can get away with making people do homework because they started assigning homework with Iron Man. They started assigning, giving people post-credit and mid-credit scenes to dig into early and often. Star Trek can't get away with that, and it's a lot easier when you start out as a written medium to transition to a visual medium and make changes, integrate changes that going to TV or movies did. It's almost impossible to keep any kind of numbers. The percentage of people who watch Trek is way bigger than who watch Strange New Worlds, and that percentage is way bigger than whoever's going to actually read these comic books. And they know that. So it is it's a fun little story, but ultimately it's not something people need to know before season 2 starts.
And we'll catch up with the chat here in just one moment, I promise. My only pushback, gentlemen, is going to be that as a casual Marvel viewer, I'm kind of sick of having to watch everything. I haven't recently.
Yeah, I think people are starting to get that.
Yeah, I don't have time, and I beyond that, I don't want to have that time, right? Like I don't want to tell my wife like, "Hey, let's go watch these 4 TV shows so we can watch this one movie." Like I'd rather just go see the movie with an actor that we both like in it. And I really do, to your point, that is one thing that I really appreciate about this. It's fun for me, the crazy fan, but there's nothing about it that if you don't see this, you're going to be missing in Strange New World Season 2. So, quickly.
But my point then is just make it its own thing. Don't connect it
at
all.
Right, exactly.
Don't connect it and then say, but never mind.
And we're about to address that. So first, Peter makes a great point here. One of his favorite moments when the comics were the flashbacks to the Illyrian homeworld in the past. I really love that. I love that the old whatever their version of the Prime Directive Vulcans are.
I'd say just pre-Surak.
They ride Celots down their first contact ramp. That's real subtle. Like, wow. I thought that was...
Is that a reference? Do we see the Sabretooth?
Oh, it's from TAS.
Mounts ever before?
Yeah,
Is
it's from the animated series. And Spock actually references it in Strange New Worlds. He says, or maybe that was Short Treks. I think it was Strange New Worlds, but he mentions having had a pet when he was a child. Peter says also the comic making the connection with the Enterprise episode Damage, which introduced the Illyrians. Yes, I believe that was the look of the Illyrians of this is derived from those Illyrians, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
Kelly says she thinks that this is aimed at getting the attention of Star Trek fans who may not be aware of a new series.
That's a good point.
Or fans who can't afford Paramount Plus. Now, to that point, When we were at Fan Expo Portland 2023, go listen to our episode. It's called Season 2 Theories and Queries. We were walking around the convention floor and finding people in Star Trek uniforms and going, "Hey, do you like Strange New Worlds?" And they were going, "What? I haven't heard of that." And we're like, "You're wearing a Star Trek uniform and you haven't heard of that?" So those people are there. Like, that happened to us more than once, and it kind of surprised us. I really like this point from Mark in the chat. It's a slice of life. It's a category that can be its own kind of thing without moving the needle. That's very popular in anime and manga. So I think it fits well here in the comic, and I'm going to agree with that. Like, one of my favorite episodes ever is Data's Day, even though it has no stakes. Like, that's kind of what I like about it. So that's definitely something that I like here.
But yeah, Pike wasn't there. Nobody was cooking steaks. Come on, Jesse.
That's pretty funny. Yes. So point being, I think that there is definitely a small niche. This is the point we've all made, I think, is that there's a small niche of people that this is directly aimed at. But I bet you it works on those people really well, because it worked on me pretty well. And I went into it kind of not expecting anything, because I've read, tie-in comics for a show that's based on production art before.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked the Star Trek Doctor Who crossover comics. They were very creative, really liked the whole idea. It was definitely like the same 8 production photos, with slightly different lighting every 5 panels. So this did not suffer from that, which I really appreciated. I could tell who everybody was. There was no like fake cinematic lighting. It was just a straight up comic book. I like the design of it. There were a few panels where I'm like, I would love to have that like on my wall. Just like, there's some really good Ortega's panels in here.
Some great ship, just Enterprise double page panels too. Beautiful shots of the
everything
space.
is gorgeous. One complaint that I would say that I have is maybe not. I don't want to say not enough of the characters, because it's a character centric story. But like, they put La'an and they put Hemmer on the cover, right? And there is a panel of Hemmer, but that's it. Like, they're not. It's like John said, it's post episode 10, so there's no Hemmer to be had, and La'an isn't there. So it's like, I get why they're on the cover, but as a nitpicky fan, I was like, why are they on the cover? They're not in the series. But
I mean, heck, one of the retailer incentive copies, I believe, of issue 3 has Una sitting in the captain's chair talking to Pike. Like, that's not in, but that's covers. Literally, with comics, you cannot judge a book by its cover, almost more than any other type of book, because they'll put whatever they want on the cover. Nothing to do with what's inside.
Well, and one of the variants to that point, and then I promise I'll be quiet for a moment, is they have the Captain Pike hair in Lower Deck style. And it's like, I love that, but this is not a Lower Decks comic.
Tonally, that was way off.
When I got them delivered, I was like, oh, it's not. They're just okay. A lot of different random variants. I was expecting like other Lower Deck style stuff. No.
Yeah.
No.
Not there.
But I enjoy all the variant covers.
They're all beautiful.
Yeah,
I have no complaints other than that I was like, this doesn't fit. It's all Star Trek to me. So
I was wondering why they cast Alan Ruck as Captain Pike in this comic.
Yeah.
That was an interesting casting.
And on
choice.
one of the covers, he looks very much like Jeffrey Hunter.
Yes.
Like, somebody was given the draw Captain Pike assignment, and they went, I don't want to. I want to draw Jeffrey Hunter. It was like,
someone was draw these characters. At first I was like, they must not have had the rights to the actors' likenesses, and that must be a tough line to walk. Like, draw the character without the actors. But some panels do look a lot like them.
Yeah,
but I'd say 80% of them do not look like them.
But then there's a variant cover of issue 4 that is almost photographic art of Jess Bush's chapel. Like, it is unmistakably Jess Bush's chapel. And so,
because you could mistake her in the comic pages itself.
Yeah.
Well, I would say,
she's not drawn.
In a comic book, as I mentioned before, as like with a manga or an anime, hairstyles do a lot of work, right? Like,
they do. All the hairstyles are perfect. Right. They that's what they were.
And
leaning
that's like,
on.
which character is this? Oh, that's Ortega's, right? And it's. I don't think it's as bad as Cameron thinks it is, but to his point, I know exactly what he's talking about.
I am very picky about art style. Remember.
Perfectly happy to admit that.
Yes.
So the comic is bookended nicely with we get a little bit of establishing storyline, but it's bookended with a very TNG episode Lower Deck style conversation at the bar between Ortegas, Uhura, and Chapel. And there's one to open the series, and there's one to close the series. And I think it's partly to get them some screen time, page time, whatever you call it in a comic book. But
right.
But yeah, I was like, oh, this seems very, very the episode Lower Decks, which I won't say much more because Cam hasn't seen yet. But that's not spoiling anything.
It also feels like that last page is where you can pull some hints about what we might expect from season 2, episode 1. I think they are hinting at some stuff there that will connect.
Yeah, and we won't go like specifically through all of the plot details, right? But we do have some Trek plot details. Okay, so we've got a bit of a Samaritan snare that happens here.
Yep.
And then I don't really know what the precedent is for the way that they end up kidnapping Spock.
I will say transporter tag. I'm amazed we haven't seen more transporter tag. like just it's like this would be really fun in an episode. Just being like, no, we're going to transport you away. No, we're going to transport you away, and just transport wars. Yeah.
In Disco, where like all you have to do is tap your badge and you've transported like anywhere, right? So there should, I mean, and they did, to Disco's credit, they do have a couple scenes where there's a very cool transporter chase. But that was the thing about this, I think, that sold me over the pieces that I was like not like super jazzed about, right? Because I was like, the pieces of it feel so Star Trek. Like I could hear the transporters when they would show the beam, and I could like. When the phasers went off, I was like, that looks really good. Like,
could you hear the door chime when it went?
Reet. Yep.
Reet.
I had to think about it, and as I thought about it more, it was that reet. It's like but yeah, onomatopoeias are difficult.
They're difficult. They're tough.
Very difficult, and it's an art form that I kind of never appreciated. I mean, it's one of those things you don't notice till it's done a little poorly, right? Like,
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It took me a moment. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go with that. I buy it.
It's better than just writing ding for everything, you know.
Well, yeah.
Like TNG is like, you know, do. You know, what are you going to write on page for that? You got several notes to write versus just a 2-note ring. So
no, for TNGs you would write beady boodoo.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good.
I think you found your new calling, Jesse.
Yeah.
I'm good at naming podcasts and onomatopoeizing Star Trek sounds. That's the shortest resume ever.
Well, how'd you guys feel about how the characters were written? Did you feel they sounded like their characters?
Okay, so the only character note that I had was that Pike felt very frustrated to me, which is not something we usually see in Pike. We see a lot of, you know, like internal wrestling with fate and like thinking about outcomes and things like that. But we don't see him frequently like not lose his cool, but like actually seem like he has no idea what to do. And I will say I felt like there were a couple of panels in maybe 1 or 2 issues where I was like, he feels a little dumb in the way that like a Kirk has a slight reputation for, or like a early season Picard might be, which we've all talked about. It was just like,
yeah, I couldn't hear a lot of his dialogue in Anson Mount's voice. I tried to. It's a comic. There's a lot of exposition-y dialogue for sure, and that's part of it. Oh, there's a lot. But then even some of his jokes, I was like, this doesn't feel pikey to me.
It wasn't playful enough. It was like, and now I told a joke, and it's like,
yeah, exactly. I would say the strongest voice the writers nailed was Spock for me. In reading the internal dialogue he was having with himself for the first 2 books almost entirely, I was like, okay, I can hear Ethan Peck saying this.
Yeah. The third issue is mostly just him, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I agree with you 100%. And
well, I think it's the second issue he does the log.
Yeah,
is basically his interior monologue, and that is one of the highlights of the series for me. Is like, Spock's interior monologue as he's like talking about, I hope the crew can't tell how emotional I am right now. And of course, conveniently, Ortega's right then. It's like, boy, you're cool, Spock.
Yeah. Well, and I would say like, yes, a lot of the dialogue in the whole series, excuse me, sounds very expository. But with Spock, you can kind of just get away with that because that's how he sounds, right? Like he sort of sounds expository. But I agree with you there. I mean, as an auditory being, I don't know how that comes across. Probably weird. But as somebody who lives in the audio sphere frequently, I was able to hear all of these voices very clearly, to your point, except for Pike, where I was like, this is just, it's a little bit off. Like it feels to me, like I said, it almost feels like Jeffrey Hunter's Pike in a couple of spots.
Yeah,
where I was like, that's not, like somebody saw the cage and went, oh, I know Pike. But I don't want to make assumptions about the writers because I hate when people do that. So I'm not going to do that. And I know that these writers know their Star Trek.
Yeah. Christian Byers in the writers room for a lot of these shows. So
my guess is that there were story constraints that they were given, and they were like, okay, how do we make all this fit? Which is generally the slack that I'm willing to cut anything that I talk about critically.
How frustrating do you think that is sometimes? Like,
it's got to be the worst. And to Mark's point, Pike is missing his number one, and there's basically nothing he can do about it. So that's definitely part of where that frustration is coming from.
Another thing you can think of is that this is a horrible day for Pike because it seems like this is starting right where episode 10 has left off.
Kind of feels
moments
like it.
later.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the crew is just finding out about this. And so, he is just coming from this existential crisis of, living his alternate future. And now he has to deal with all of this.
Which is great parallel because then, spoiler alert, Spock lives a little bit of an alternate past. Again, with the Trek tropes here, it's sort of along the lines of a Inner Light, except that in this instance, Rock Spock takes a walk and checks out a Prothean pyramid from Mass Effect on the Illyrian homeworld. Now, my issue with this issue is, I told you I brought a lot of puns, is that it's a little bit of a cop-out, I think, to Cameron's point from earlier, to go, hey, here's the definitive reason for a thing, and then at the end go, but we're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I really liked the reason that they gave for that. Normally, I would hate it just on principle, but the justification I actually really like for it because it was a well-considered thing, and it fits with the rest of the continuity of Star Trek as I'm aware of it, because, again, I have not watched Enterprise.
I kind of disagree because they all say, and I disagree, that they think they found the key to save Una. I'm like, why do you guys think this would be a thing? The laws are still the laws, anyway. But ignoring that, they all think we found this great information. And then one captain is like, nah, I don't want to. And you're all like, oh, you're right. Okay, never mind. It's one captain who tried to murder them. They're not going to care what he thinks.
Right. But
there's no big cultural it literally is the decision and hey, how does everybody else feel about this? Also,
should we run this up the flagpole a bit?
Yeah. How does your guys' political society work?
But it's a diaspora, and they don't have a political society that's unified, and they all have different ways of living in different places, et cetera, et cetera. And we constantly see, to be fair, one captain speak for an entire race in Star Trek. That's a pretty common thing that captains do in Star Trek. So
that's true.
That's a good point.
It's one of those things where
I'm not saying it's not Star Trek.
Right.
I'm just saying you can poke holes.
You absolutely can, just like you can with Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Again, to illustrate the soft landing point, right? It's if you're already there for the Star Trek of it all, it's probably not going to bug you, I think. Now, part of this is that it was really? I've been waiting for more than a year, and you're giving me 4 issues of just give me something that isn't
84 pages of
tiny,
story, and all right. Yeah, I am looking forward to the day where everything catches back up. I don't even know if regular production schedules for television series are going to become a thing like they used to be when we were growing up, but I go tiny bit of a soapbox here. I hate split seasons. They piss me off and they feel lazy on the network's part. It always feels like a cash grab. And it's frustrating these days to be like, oh yeah, we shot this thing 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and now it's finally coming out. And for they're just, it's weird to adapt to the way that television is presented now compared to when we were kids. And
especially when you consider that a lot of those studios and those sorts of people are making way more money now on the exact same product. It starts to become pretty clear why the WGA is like, maybe we should just strike. In case it's not super clear, we here at Open Pike Night totally support the WGA. And I hope in my heart of hearts that something very good can get worked out, because if there is yet another delay in the life cycle of Strange New Worlds, I may not live, you guys. They've already told me there's going to be a season 3, and if there's a strike instead of season 3 and then they still do season 3 a year later, can you even imagine what would happen to me? I would shrivel and die. It will be bad.
There will be.
But you would all be here to see every moment.
And I will totally support it because I understand that it's necessary.
There will be
I'm
some
totally here for that.
Niche episodes of Open Pike Night for a while there, while we wait for that real specific episode.
Minute by minute menagerie.
So, some other very Trekian things that happen in this that are fun to poke holes at is Pike pulls the classic Trek captain maneuver of seeing a trap and walking right into it. Oh, thank you for alerting me that there's a trap, Uhura. How about we just continue with what we were going to do anyway?
Yeah. And also just the flat out, it's not surprising for Pike, but any captain really just I don't want to do what I've been ordered to do. I'm going to go do what I want to do, and then maybe we'll get to what we're supposed to do.
Now,
but it's kind of fun to see him kind of wing about it a bit. Whinge.
Well, and
Whinge.
I've seen these as sort of, hello to Admiral Funnest Frontier. Welcome to the chat, Admiral.
Hey,
good to have you.
Up?
Thank you for all you do for all of the podcasting and Star Trek community on Twitter. Follow him at Funnest Frontier on Twitter. Now, my issue there, or not an issue rather, is that I think that the one of the things that I like about the alien, or rather the Illyrians in this, is that they have that classic TOS almost style feel where they're just sort of snide for no reason. And then they give you a little aside where it's actually they're snide because humans suck. And the only other time we ran into humans, we were jerks about it. So it's I will say that, it does have a little bit of that extended universe feel, because it's go check out this episode, this episode, which of course it is built to do. But I hear you, Cameron, when you say come on, don't give me any homework for the thing. I totally get that.
And unfortunately with the aforementioned damage episode, you can't just watch that episode, because that was a season where Enterprise was we're going to go full season-long story arc like DS9 did. Ooh, and
right.
If you just take that one out of context, wow, that was a dick move for no reason. There were reasons. Still doesn't mean it wasn't a dick move.
Well, but and as we were talking about with captains not necessarily going rogue, but kind of stretching the limits of their orders, right? I always see that as I'm a star employee. I'm going to really push against all of the policies that my manager has in place or something, just to see how much I can get away with, right?
Yeah.
Because even when Pike gets reprimanded in this, April is kind of, hey, I get it, man.
April should not be Pike's admiral, because he is such a pushover.
He's a huge pushover,
in the series and in this comic.
La la la, didn't hear that. La la la.
He seriously is if I were an admiral and my child was a captain. It would be useless.
I did in the story how Spock, it's the Illyrian Enigma is mostly about Spock, or a good chunk of it is about Spock, and I enjoyed his point of view, and just getting to see some more Vulcan history and Illyrian history, and being the one to discover that while also dealing with his issues. And that's part of this series, is it is really serialized in the storylines that we actually get to see. It's Spock, again, like Cam said, picking immediately up after what we've already seen in this series. Not a whole lot of new stuff. So,
but he's got
that's some very good continuity.
But he's got that emotional rawness from episode 9, where he's I'm gonna let this into my soul and deal with this here.
Yeah.
And it comes across even on a static comic book image. I mean, it's really, really well done.
But yeah, I mean, just kind of going back to what these extended universe things have to be, like, again, why I prefer the little sidebar stories is, yes, we get some huge revelations about Vulcans and Illyrians in this comic until any TV or screenwriter decides not to.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing. Like, why would an extended universe writer, like, make these things knowing that there's nothing that's going to make anyone stick to it?
Because you're getting a chance to work on Star Trek, and the same thing could be said of any...
Tell a fun story. Just tell a fun story. You don't have to, tell us where the Illyrians came from.
That's what I'm saying, though, is they were probably told, tell us where the Illyrians came from.
They were probably told. I understand, yes.
And the same could be said of any TV writer, too, right? Like, why make Una an Illyrian? Why make Una an Illyrian if somebody else has already established that we don't know much about them? It's like, oh, because I want to be the one to flesh that out. It's like... Yeah, you could argue for any creative working on a show like this, why do this thing? Because somebody else could change it. But I hear where you're coming from. Like,
just ask the showrunners of Picard.
I mean, wow, talk about some thematic.
God, Cam, I can't wait for you to start watching Picard.
I don't know either. Apparently, somehow I haven't been spoiled yet, but I know there's some things that are happening. I've just seen people's reactions.
It's intense. Yeah.
Okay, let me talk about some things I did like a lot. I mean, I've talked a little bit, but Ortegas has a great laugh out loud line about sitting in the captain's chair. Loved that moment. And of course, the one amazing panel of a human that looks a lot like Pike walking on the Illyrian homeworld, and then you get this great like EC comic panel of like this dissolving human flesh, like classic astronauts, broken helmet. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's something they couldn't show on a family friendly TV show. Like, that's something perfect for comics. And I wish they'd leaned into that EC kind of more retro style a little bit more.
Bernie writes in like the illustrations of the Stand style kind of thing. Like, it's like, give us a little bit of pulp. Give us, and it is
pulp.
Yes. They bring a teeny bit of pulp to this, and it's nice to see.
Turning Spock's skin into rocks is not pulp for you. That
was all right. That was good.
I mean, to me, that's like a straight video game thing, and I was like, I love this. I'm super here for this.
Man, Star Trek just like feels people's DNA can just like shift and transform at a moment's notice.
I'll ask, and I'm asking this to everybody watching too. How is what they did to Spock for him to go to that planet any different than what Chapel did when they went down in the season 1, episode 1? She modified their genetics to blend in.
Right, and how is that any different from the Illyrians in the first place at all?
Exactly. How?
Well, it was temporary.
Right.
Those were temporary, and I guess temporary is okay.
Yeah, it sure seems like it, because, I mean, that's Chapel's whole career, as they established in season 1, is genetic stuff. It's like, but we're scared of it. But
I also love that we learned that Chapel's a civilian. Maybe she has a lot of downtime to be just randomly researching Illyrian genetics on her own, which we learned she does. But Uhura, a cadet on the flagship, being tossed from position to position, has apparently just taken it upon herself to like study deep into Illyrian history over the course of the first season.
Well, their language is actually somewhat simple to learn. There's if you follow Jörg Hillebrand on Twitter, which you should do, at GachYogi49.
That's true.
He did point out there's like a whole, like when they first put up that display at the Paley Center in New York around the premiere, there was one of those Illyrian scrolls, and there's like, it's a direct substitution cipher, so it's actually not super difficult to learn that language. Now, I doubt that that's the canon reason that Uhura was able to do it, to Cameron's point, but just, I figured if I'm going to be a nitpicky Trekkie, I ought to do that at all times, especially now.
I like Mark's Mark's comment, because I think that's the canon reason is she just doesn't like her roommates, so she just hides away in her bed. It's like, I have nothing else to do right now. These guys are being bozos out here.
Yeah. Also, I like the pitch dark sleep pod, because there's a lot of light in that sleep pod. Even in the deleted scene. Yeah.
Now, I will ask, do you guys feel that you have any grasp on how they're going to get Una out of jail? Because I totally do.
I mean, I definitely feel like they're setting it up so they're going to be on shore leave. And then these three, Ahura, Chapel, and Ortegas, are going to stay on the Enterprise, and they've got a plan, which feels a lot like the Lower Decks pilot or season premiere when they were saving Captain Freeman. So I don't know what's going on there.
And then they found out that they weren't saving Captain Freeman. Somebody else was doing it, and they were the Lower Deckers.
Right. Here, they're actually probably going to save Una themselves. But that's the difference between
Kelly
the shows.
says blackmail. Who's getting blackmailed, Kelly? Who's getting blackmailed? And over what? Does Pike have something on April? I don't. And was April involved? Does somebody have something on Battelle? Do we know?
Probably.
Apparently the Illyrians have something on all of them because there's just Illyrian spies throughout the Federation we hear,
right?
Which feels like more damning information on Una than anything else.
Yeah. There are a lot of people in human form in the Federation passing as human. That's kind of a weird plot point, and I bet you that never comes up in any Star Trek ever.
Nope. That would never be a thing again.
Wouldn't make sense because it had already been used. So, and I would put it past. I know Star Trek writers aren't going to use plots that just got used twice in quick succession. So
certainly not in the same calendar year or TV season.
They wouldn't do that, even if the medium were slightly different, say animation. Right. I don't know.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Hi, Ginny. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here in the chat with us. I am happy to have you here.
Yeah, welcome.
Really quickly clear my throat there, Kelly. John, do you have any predictions about how Una will get out? Do you think it'll be blackmail? Do you think it'll be?
I think it'll be as like the agency needs you. I think it'll be something where there will be some issue that comes up where they'll only talk to an Illyrian and they only know one Illyrian, and they're gonna it's like they're calling you back to service. It'll be like the end of what was it, Sherlock season 3? Like, oh, we're shipping you off to exile. All right, I hope you learned your lesson. We need you back. So, I think that's probably a pretty likely way they're going to do it.
I like that.
I know Jesse's got his theory, and I think it's a very good theory, Jesse. So I'll let you finish with that. So I'll just say my guess then is that they're going to find a way to reverse her genetic modifications. The Chapel and Uhura have been studying. Chapel's got all this DNA stuff we learned in these comics. They're going to find a way to reverse her condition.
So you're saying they're going to take a character who's notably, for the entire time that we've been aware of them, not human, and just suddenly make them human? That also wouldn't fit into Star Trek anywhere. I don't think.
Not really,
not
but
recently.
That's my very bad guess. I'm not saying I'm going to enjoy it when they do it, but
Well, I mean, if she's like 120 years old and we get like a Raiders of the Lost Ark aging, I'm sorry.
I could deal
face
with
melting
that.
off. Yeah.
Yes, the medicine Chapel gives her is in a very a carpenter-like cup, and even
you can only take this medicine from a chalice in a large dose.
That's right.
Mark says, I'll admit to being a little bit disappointed if it wraps up by a "we need you quickly." We'll call that the JAG resolution. I think I will call mine the measure of an Illyrian man style illusion, or rather solution. I've been doing a little bit of reading, and showrunner Henry Alonzo Myers, who has been here before, you should go listen to that episode. It's called Future Man. Mentioned that the episode in season 2 dealing with Una feels like a classic Trek episode, and he talks a lot about how it really draws from the DNA of Trek. So I'm just hearing measure of a man style episode, which is a full on, to mention JAG again, court-martial style episode. You've got a judge, you've got an advocate, there's probably a general somewhere. But if they stick with the structure that we're used to, that Picard laid down in Measure of a Man, then that would have Pike defending Una. Great. We love this. And it would have his acting number 1, who I'm pretty sure would be La'an, and has been La'an in the past when Una's not available, arguing against her, which I think would be, I think that would work thematically, right? Because then inevitably La'an is going to learn something about her own self-worth, and how just because she's an augment monster doesn't mean that she's bad. But I am mostly, it's just coming from me craving this lawyer episode, really.
I think you're really onto something there. I think it is going to be a courtroom drama. We haven't had that Strange New Worlds episode yet, and we know that they like to kind of bring back these classic formats. I think though La'an is going to defend Una. I think Una's going to ask for her, and that's why they bring La'an back. That's why she comes back to help, and that's because she doesn't like augments, and so you got to put her into the position where she has to defend them, even though she doesn't like them.
But then who?
So I don't know who's going to prosecute though. Someone.
Cybok.
Ortegas.
Patel?
I'm just saying Ortegas. Yeah.
Because Ortegas, because she's got a little bit of xenophobia in the future.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cybok.
Oh, Instant Chalamet?
That would be funny.
Cybok.
Oh, Ensign Chalamet, yeah, because we know he's a racist.
Yep.
That's right.
But I don't think they would go, who's the most likely to hate her? Let's have that person prosecute.
No, he's just the person who
Now,
volunteered
to be
first.
fair, they did sort of do that to Data, but they didn't do it on purpose.
Oh, Pelia.
Right.
I mean, come on. Newest on the ship.
Oh,
It's
Pelia.
like, oh,
You're
yeah.
right.
It's like
It'll be
she
Pelia.
was a lawyer in her first assignment, but then she went back to engineering school.
But now I'm an
so-
engineer because I
Yeah,
thought it would be
now
fun.
I'm just a simple engineer, but I'm assuming she has a southern accent for the whole season for some reason. Yeah. But in Carol Kane, yeah.
I forgot about Carol Kane. I'm so happy. Wow.
What about Kirk?
I just
Ooh. Kirk would be good.
Kirk would be the only thing that I personally wouldn't go for on that is that it's like you're and again, it's totally fine to do this, especially considering the spot that Strange New Worlds occupies in continuity, etc. But now you're just inventing a dynamic that we don't super need. Like, we've got a captain that we can hang out with, that we love. Like, let's give him some more screen time. Let's give Bruce Horak some screen time. Maybe that's who he is in season 2. He shows up as the Starfleet version of a public defender, all in some kind of makeup. Oh,
Yep.
this could be. Oh, Kelly makes a good point. Which Kirk? Sam Kirk was there. I totally forgot
That's
about
right.
him.
I was thinking James. Sam. I'd watch
He's
it.
tougher than he
I would watch
looks.
it. Plus, remember, Kirk does pick Una as his number 1 too, potentially. So, for an episode. Oh no, I guess that was all Pike. She was never.
Yeah, she was never.
Oh, damn. Okay. Whoops.
Oh, Mark makes a good point. What if it's Kirk Cameron? Then Una's gonna lose.
There we go.
R.I.P. Una. But I would still watch the hell out of that episode personally. If we can get Candace Cameron to defend Una, I would watch that episode as well. But then we'd have to make all kinds of Full House jokes, and then when they hit the gavel, they'd have to say "Have mercy," and it would only work for 8 people. So,
Well,
James Cameron, he's just
James
got a
Cameron,
pocket full of time crystals.
yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think he's busy, right?
He's probably down at the bottom of the ocean or something. Yeah.
He should be free. James Cameron's heart is a deep ocean of secrets. That's a good point. Well, I think that's about all the notes that I have, you guys, as far as things that I can get away without spoiling the entire, every plot point. I will say I am the kind of person that, as I said before, I always want more Star Trek, and I feel like this is maybe one of the avenues that I have personally neglected as a Star Trek fan, because I know there are other ongoing Star Trek comics, and they're really well reviewed, so that might be something that I need to check out, and that's kind of making me hope that you do send that copy of The High Country soon, John, because
I will send it. Yeah.
I also, because I want to be able to interact with our listener and good friend and supporter Peter's show, the Trek Book Club, and that's one of the smartest sounding podcasts I've ever heard in my life, and I would love to be able to not sound like some kind of Luddite when I attempt to participate in their chats. So I am going to make an effort as a Star Trek fan to expand my horizons a little bit more into the graphic novel / comic book / actual grown-up book world.
Yeah, the High Country, from what you've said, sounds like the exact kind of there we go, excellent extended universe story I enjoy.
Yes. Yeah. It is. And I will get to the post office and I will send it. So.
Yeah, I feel the Illyrian Enigma as the first Strange New Worlds comics. I mean, it feels a little bit more like an advertisement for season 2 than a comic series in its own right. I expect that we're going to get some very fun stories coming up with writers with stories that they really want to tell and ideas. And I do dig the retro kind of aesthetic and drawings in it.
Yeah.
So I think they could be a really fun comic series going forward.
I'm going to agree with that.
Yeah, I hope they do continue it. I hope they continue doing Strange New Worlds comics in some form or fashion. Hopefully separate stories, not just season tie-ins or episode tie-ins, things like that. Because that is, it is a, like we talked about, a big constraint. And I was like, yeah, just tell an original story. It's okay. But I think they also, I mean, who knows? Maybe it was partly they knew how much time was going to have passed between season 1 and season 2. 13 months. It's, it used to be 4 months. It used to be 4 months between seasons, and now we wait over a year, sometimes 2 years for TV seasons. So it's probably them trying to keep up the pace of production and knowing that there's just a lot of Trek happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if you take all the series as one, like that's more episodes of Trek than you would have gotten
exactly
in the early 90s. So
we're coming up on 1,000 total, folks. Now, to John's point about the pace of production, that for us is about to increase, because when Strange New Worlds gets here, you're going to have like 2 or 3 days to watch the episode, get your thoughts together, call into our show, and then listen to us, because the turnaround is quick during the season, right? It gets released on a Thursday. We come out the next Tuesday.
Yep.
So doing the math for quality assurance and time spent doing the things, you've got about 2 days, maybe 3 days to get your voice heard on Open Pike Night, but we want you to be ready to do that. So the easiest way for you to do that is to just go to openpike.com and click on all the links. Some of them say join us, some of us say newsletter, some of them say all kinds of stuff. Just click on them all, see what they all do. But make sure you click on the newsletter one so that you can get subscribed. That gets you alerts directly to your email inbox about what's going on with us. As John mentioned earlier, if you go to patreon.com/openpike and sign up at any tier, including the $2 tier, you will be entered to win the aforementioned signed apron. It has been touched by Captain Pike and Mr. Spock, and we're about halfway to the 50 patron.
Halfway,
yeah, so
yeah,
just huge thank you, first of all, to everybody who has already become a patron, and thank you to all of you out there considering it. We have recently refreshed everything. Everything is now connected, so as soon as you sign up as a patron, you get immediate access to our patron Discord channel. You will be able to chat with us directly there. You can get access to all the videos and the contest, etc. There's a lot going on at openpike.com, and you're going to want to be aware of all of it as Strange New Worlds gets going. That having been said, I've got one last thing, guys, and then I'll let you go. This is the last week of Star Trek Picard Season 3. That gives us pretty good reason to hope for a trailer for Strange New Worlds Season 2. Maybe Thursday, maybe Friday.
Yep.
Maybe like midnight on Friday. So they're or maybe midnight Thursday morning, right? So keep your eyes on social media, Twitter specifically, at Open Pike, for me to be flipping out and calling for your reactions to the trailer, because there will be a special episode of Open Pike Night to react to that trailer. Of course, as there was last year. Go check that out. We actually predicted some stuff that came true, and I'm kind of stoked for us, because if you listen to it and then listen to this, you will hear how far we've come. And of course, we couldn't do any of that without you, the live viewers and the listeners out there in the audience. Thank you so much for continuing to listen and download every week. As you do, we couldn't do this without you.
Absolutely. And I will say, for the regular season episodes, get your clips in by Saturday. You have until the end of the day Saturday. We'll be recording on Sundays. So just when you have thoughts right after you watch the episode, open up the openpike.com/join us, or open up your recording app and just send us a voice memo. And we'd love to hear old returning voices, new voices. We want as many voices as possible to include in our episodes. So,
and actually, to that point, before we get out of here, guys, let's go ahead and play the one submission we did get for this week that we all totally spaced until right now.
We did. We thank you for saying that, Jesse, because we do. We had a new caller this week. Let's hear from him.
Captain Idle from Trek Time here, long-time listener, first-time subspace communicator. This series was ultimately disappointing, setting us up to be hyped over finding out something about the mysterious Una between the two series. However, it took us on a bit of a bizarre journey, including Spock turning to stone and many outrageous transporter abductions. It did add some detail with the variants of Illyrians, but if you came for the actual Enigma, be prepared to be left disappointed. And to top it off, Una doesn't even appear in the series at all. Massive mischance to capitalise on the stunning image of Rebecca Romaine. Anywho, I look forward to forgetting I recorded this, driving home in my car and nearly crashing at the shock of my own voice coming out of the radio. Live long and prosper.
I will insert some horn honking sounds right there at the end of that. Welcome to the Open Pike Night Stage. Thank you for calling in and letting us, giving your thoughts on the Illyrian Enigma. And we hope to hear from you again. And as always, new callers, we'll go for it.
You may
I just had to say, I love your energy and your punnery. That was your rhyming is just gorgeous. Apologies, I didn't mean to interrupt, John.
Oh, you're good. No, we love having new callers. We love our old callers. We love all of our callers, all of our supporters, and of course all of our listeners. Without you, there is no Open Pike Night. So, thank you all for being here with us tonight. If you want to catch up with Jesse or Cam, where can folks catch up with more of you?
Yeah, you can catch up with me now watching DS9, as you said, as well as TNG over at Green Shirt, a newbie's trek through the next generation. Find it wherever you're listening to this podcast. For as much longer as we're probably still around for another couple of years with all of the Picard to tackle after we're done with TNG.
Oh, yeah. For at least 2 more years, I'd say.
At least 2 more
Jesse,
years.
how about you?
Okay, one last guess for Section 31. I think Georgiou is going to find a way to travel through the mycelial network, despite her sudden onset scoliosis, while dodging space pirates in a cloaked ship. And they'll call it Crouching Tardigrade Hidden Drukmani. You're welcome. If for whatever reason after that you're still willing to listen to me, just stay in this podcasting app and look up Sudden But Inevitable. That's the podcast where I get longtime friends to become brand new fans of the shows I feel they probably should have seen by now. Shows like Firefly, Cowboy Bebop, movies like Highlander, Donnie Darko. There's a lot of stuff that people that I know haven't seen, and hearing them experiencing it for the first time through my watchful eye, let's call it that, can be a lot of fun. So go check it out, Sudden But Inevitable.
I just want to say thank you, Kelly, for saying thank you, Open Pike, for a great podcast and fantastic tweets. Really appreciate your handwork. Thank you, Kelly. Peter says thank you, Open Pike Night, for hosting this session. You got me to finish reading the comic series. So, hey, we're all about that. We're all about more people enjoying more Trek. And we appreciate all of you joining us tonight, everybody listening. And we just hope you have a fantastic, 7, 8, 9 weeks until the premiere of Season 2 of Strange New Worlds. So until then, you can go anywhere you want, but you can't stay here.